Okay, feed me a bit more. Yeah, so it's going straight down this line.
Yep. Notch trail is out.
Well,
or notch trail touching it to the ground is out. Might just be able to drag it over the surface.
hello and welcome to another almost finished room, which is very exciting news for us and perhaps very exciting news for you too. We've been busily working away in this room, which is our future lounge, for what seems like many weeks now. But we've done lots of things that we've shown you before in separate videos, so we thought we'd combine it all into one and show you the transformation of this room. We've done some plastering, we've done some lime washing, we've done some cleaning up of the kind of pointed stone wall that you can see behind me. We've done some floor tiling, some grouting, and a few other things as well. And we're calling it almost done. There are a few more things to do. We'll circle back and talk about those towards the end. But for now, sit back and enjoy what we have been up to for the last few weeks.
Let's hope it's enough.
Let's hope it's enough. Well, length is something I've always had trouble with.
Before plastering the final wall, we took a short break to do a bit of plumbing, and we made an entire video about that process, which we'll link in the description.
Which is good news.
I'll cut this where my hand is there somewhere.
Here?
Yeah.
Something we've mentioned in previous videos but not really done much work on yet is our ventilation system. This is a mechanical ventilation with heat recovery system for the whole house. Every room on the ground floor, the first floor, and even the loft space will be fed with a series of flexible ducts that take out the stale, humid air and feed in nice, clean air throughout the whole house. Before tackling the next big project in this room, we wanted to check how easy the ducting would be to work with before moving on.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, all right. Okay, feed me a bit more. And a bit more. Okay, hold it there. That should be enough. Right, up next in the transformation of this room, we're up to tiling. Now, this is something that we've done before in the room next to me, in the kitchen, so we aren't going to dwell on it too much, but there are a couple of things that we're going to try differently. We've got some new tools, a couple of new tools actually, and the only complication really is that we need to continue the lines from the kitchen through the doorway just behind me so that it all matches up nice and neatly. So we've had the laser level out, we've drawn some layout lines on the floor, and hopefully everything will line up nicely. We do also have some complications around the other doorway on the other side of the room with a couple of steps down. We'll see if we get to that. We might just leave that for another day. So we've got the small one here, and then next to it,
in this intersection of the two tiles. In this intersection of the two tiles,
gotcha.
goes a big square.
A big square. Okay. Look at this.
A while to get it all down.
I mean, it's just picking up so much material and not leaving much behind.
Yeah, and if you put the tiles into that, then they're definitely not going to be. Is it because you're angling the trail rather than having a vertical? Yeah,
this?
Yeah.
Let's try that. 2 used to plastering. So I think this is going to be too low.
Yeah, I think so too. But let's try. I mean, the internet broke last time with comments about us using a notch trowel.
Or not using it.
Well, yeah.
So let's try and put the back edge down first.
Go over a bit, yep. Too low, too low, too low. Okay.
And there's still no coverage either.
A couple of little bits, but
A little bit, but
But you can even see here, like all of these ridges, not even touched. Notch trowel is out.
well,
Or notch trowel touching it to the ground is out. Might just be able to drag it over the surface.
yeah, that might help.
It just moves too much material off of the floor. So we're trying to get it how we think it should be.
Yeah, because last time we did this continuous bed and it worked much better.
Make some more over here. That's, I think, it. Alright, let's try that. Alright, into. Yep. Use your weight.
Yeah, that's good. It's still a bit high here.
Here. Just hold on a second.
No, I was going to take all this out. Very far edge.
Alright, I'm let me get, okay. Yeah, that's pretty good that time.
Yeah, that is good. So the last time we laid the floor in the kitchen, the internet shouted at us because we did not use a notched trowel. And we've actually used a notched trowel before in another room without any success. And so we tried it there and it didn't work. We tried it a couple of times actually and it didn't work. We didn't use it in the kitchen. We got shouted at. So we thought we would try again with a different trowel, a larger notch. And I would say the results are somewhat mixed. There definitely seems to be something to do with the mix that we're using, which is not a tile adhesive. It is a natural hydraulic lime and sand mortar bed. And based on the research that we'd done, we found people who said just do a continuous mortar bed, lay the tiles in, make sure it's nice and wet so that there's plenty of movement and you can get good coverage. Notch trowel not required. And so I guess you could use one or you could not use one. It will probably work either way to some degree, varying degrees. We will continue to try and find a combination that works for us. Anyway, I think we're just going to get on with trying to lay the rest of this floor.
So we continued to experiment with the notch trowel and with a continuous mortar bed, somewhat interchangeably to begin with, but we did eventually end up abandoning the notch trowel. We just couldn't get it to work. We did like the fact that it helped to identify high spots and low spots in the mortar bed that we were putting down, but because we were trying to match the level in this room with the room next door, which had quite a thick mortar bed of about 1.5 to 2 centimeters, we just couldn't get it consistent with the notch trowel. What we did end up settling on was counting the number of scoops out of the bucket of mortar and putting onto the floor based on the size of the tile. In this pattern, the tiles are all different sizes, the smallest being 30 by 30 centimeters, the largest being 60 by 90 centimeters. We also had a 60 by 61 and a 30 by 61 as well. And the pattern is made up by combining those in a very specific order, which we had designed on my laptop, which we used as a reference throughout. Anyway, to get the right amount of mortar to get the consistent level across the entire room, we settled on 16 scoops of mortar per 60 by 60 tile, and then we kind of added or removed based on the size of tile we were working on. So perhaps not the most conventional approach to laying a tile floor, but this is not a conventional tile floor. These are thick, heavy, natural limestone tiles. We're not using a tile adhesive, we're using a mortar bed of natural hydraulic lime and fine sand. And the most important thing for us was getting the job done. Speaking of that job, this was a 4-day slog in total of laying the tiles, both for this room and the final room of the ground floor. And a bit later on, we'll show you the grouting process, which was 3 days for all of that. And there was a few other things in between as well. We'll get to all of that in due course. On with the film. By day 3, I think this is, we'd gotten into a good rhythm, we'd found our groove, no pun intended, and whilst I started laying some of the remaining hole tiles, Kylie started the fairly lengthy process of marking and scribing and cutting all of the tiles around the edge of the room. And based on some really useful comments in the last tiling video we did, we'd gone out and invested in a couple of new scribing tools to make that process a bit easier. And they worked out really well. So thank you for all those recommendations. It was a big help.
I just want to get off my gloves. Okay.
It should line up here. Oh no, we can line it up with the edge of this tile, so it needs to come back towards us a little bit. That's it. Yeah. Good.
Yep. Right, you just put it into position. It needs to come over to that way a little bit more. It needs to be tied up against this wall. Okay, and then pivot until you get it into position.
It's going to be like that.
You did that right.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, can you pick that up and if you put that piece of cardboard under that edge, then you can.
Oh, thanks. It's very heavy.
You can let go.
Okay, you got it? This way? So it needs to rotate that way a bit. Yeah, like that. Like that.
Right?
Yes.
Because I think this tile is not over enough.
I agree.
Okay.
But only by like 2 mil.
If I do that, can you... Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, got it. Oh. You got it?
Yep. Right on your edge.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's all right. Go. Drop. Now that's behind you.
Good.
Yeah.
Once the tiles had all been laid and dried out for a couple of days, we applied a water-based sealant to all of the tiles. And after that had cured for about 24 hours, it was time for grouting. Now, in all the other rooms that we had done the grouting in, the big problem we'd found was not putting the grout into all the joints, but removing all the excess off of all the tiles. These limestone tiles are very porous, even with the sealant on, and when applying the grout, which again is not a conventional traditional grout, it's a special mixture of NHL and sand, a product from Cecil called Adircal, we found it very difficult to remove all the excess. So after much experimentation, we settled on another unconventional approach of applying the grout and then quite quickly removing some of the excess with a combination of sponges and rubber spatulas, letting the grout cure for a bit and then going back and profiling all the joints with a sponge, before finally cleaning it all off, removing all of the haze and letting it set. So after 4 days of laying tiles, a day of sealing, 3 days of grouting, and another day of sealing, almost entirely spent either bending over or on our knees, we were done. And it looked excellent.
So that was a bit of a slog.
Oh, I'm glad it's done. Yeah, so it's been about 3 months working on this room. So we did this wall very late in December, and then bad weather hit, and we've been working on the rest of it since then. We've had lots and lots and lots of rain delays because you can't really mix outside in the rain. It's been super cold. I mean, spring came and then left, and winter came back again. I think it's a high of 10 degrees today, which means it's 10 degrees in the house. It's chilly. So the drying times on the walls haven't been good. The drying times on the floor hasn't been great. But we're glad that we've got it to this position, and there's still some things left. So let me go through what they are.
Before you do that, can we take a moment for a small celebration that we have this amazing floor? Are you happy with it?
I'll be happy when it's finished. That is actually one of the things, is you get so far and we're always blocked on the last step. There's something that comes along. So at the moment we can't finish sealing the floor because the grout is still drying. And it's been almost a week and it's still nowhere near dry. And so it makes that celebration, we kind of did celebrate when all the tiles were down, but now we're like, well, we just want to get on and finish it, and we can't.
So yes, we're very happy with the way the floor looks and the fact that we have got to this stage. It has been a bit of a slog, but it's a real achievement to have another room which is almost finished. But there are some things still to do. Some of those things are small, like a bit more cleanup on the stones behind me, but there are some bigger projects as well, which we all have to look forward to.
3 of the walls, this wall, the one with exposed stones, and the other end wall, have had 1 coat of lime wash. This wall has had none. So these need some more coats.
Well, you can actually see some of the rain issues
Yeah,
on this wall here.
This is the moisture, either from outside or just from the plaster now coming through. The kitchen is also still drying, still patchy. So we're hoping when we get into late April, into May, when the weather should improve a bit, that this all starts drying up a bit better. It's been a long time for it to dry. But I don't want to lime wash in here until the floor is sealed. So that needs doing, that needs to go out drying. We have not done the plumbing bits here. We have all the holes. So there's 2 holes here, there's 2 holes here. The soil pipe needs to come down here. The grey water pipe needs to connect into here. Then we need to frame out a bit of a fake wall to hide said plumbing. Oh, and in the ceiling we have run one of the ducting pieces of ventilation. We did that as a test and to make sure we could get it around the water pipes that we put in, but 4 more have to go into the ceiling here. At the far end of the wall we're going to block up the doorway, kind of like we did in the kitchen.
And eventually it will be a big door with a window in it.
Exactly. One thing we haven't done in either the kitchen or in here is the skirting tiles. So one thing we're going to experiment with before we start the skirting tiles is how to do the tiles around the doorway reveals, like the curved walls.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that I can take a piece of skirting tile and cut it into small slivers and then mitre the back edges so that they go around, but then there's lots of joins. Kind of almost like mosaic is done. So that's an idea.
If anyone has any better ideas, please let us know.
Because I don't think, as much as I think I'm superwoman sometimes, I don't think I can bend a piece of limestone skirting tile around it. And yeah, I don't know how else to do that because they're not 90 degrees. There is a couple of instances where they're kind of a point, and so you could come up and then do the second one and mitre them in.
Yeah.
But some of them are much bigger and rounder. If you have any ideas or resources or you've seen videos where that is done, please point us in that direction. The one other thing that we've done, which might be a mistake, but we made a choice, a deliberate choice, is we lay these tiles all the way across the ground floor. So that's into the room where the staircase will eventually be. And we haven't plastered in there. So that's potentially going to be an issue in the future. But what we didn't want to do was stop the tiles in this room and then kind of still have just the cement floor or limecrete floor exposed for some period of time. So Guy will do his best to bring that plaster down so that it ends right on the tiles that we've put up against those walls. We'll see if that's a mistake, but sometimes you have to do things out of order. I would say there's probably,
Don't estimate times.
I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks of work left once this has got to a dried stage where we can do what we need.
So yeah, a bit more to do, but we are getting there. Something else that I don't think we mentioned is some second fix electrics so that we can plug things in and turn on some lights. Because at the moment we're just moving like lights on tripods all around the place so that we can see what we're doing and so that you can see what we're doing. But that is pretty much it for now for this video. We're going to take a bit of a break next week because we have spent so many days bending over and on our knees and lugging these tiles around that we're quite exhausted. So do bear with us. We're going to take a week off, but we will be back, hopefully refreshed, and we've got some very exciting things to show you in the coming weeks. So do stick around for those, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, that's a thing that people say you should do.
Yeah, right? And click the...
There's a bell somewhere.
Hit the like.